few years ago, I started getting some feedback about that poem. That poem is really old. And I started getting the feedback that the poem was too gendered, too boxing in its gendering, that it was, promoting, supporting the binary. And it was potentially harmful because of that. And when I started getting that feedback, I thought about rewriting the poem so that it wasn't that way. And I thought about just not reading it for a while, which I didn't because I needed to figure out how I felt about it. And I really considered it. And then I decided that I was going to keep the poem just as was, and that's what felt best to me. It's interesting, I've been living in gray. I don't dig the word gray. Saying I live in gray spaces in my gender. I like silver, it sounds better. Silver spaces in my gender for several years now. And that is, some days when the word woman doesn't feel so comfortable for me, or doesn't feel like it represents me on particular days. But when I read that poem, it's the one time in my life where I feel most woman. Okay, so I'm going to let you choose between Swing Set and Andrew. Most of you probably don't know these. So just on title, let's see which one folks prefer. So I have a poem, they're similarly themed, but somewhat different. And one's called Swing Set, the other's called Andrew. So show of hands for Andrew. Andrew. Yeah. Okay, cool. Swing Set. Oh, more people want Swing Set. Damn. Okay, let's do this. You know what? This is a good one. I'll do Swing Set, and it's the thing about doing this one is that I can give a disclaimer at the end of this poem because I've changed it a bit, and I'll tell you why at the end. Okay, to give you some background, I was a preschool teacher for 5 years, and this came from me. "Are you a boy or a girl?" he asks, staring up from all 3 feet of his pudding-faced grandeur, and I say, "Dylan, you've been in this class for 3 years, and you still don't know if I'm a boy or a girl?" Well, then at this point, I really don't think it matters. Do you? No. Can I have a push on the swing? And this happens every day. It's a tidal wave of kindergarten curiosity rushing straight through the rocks of me, whatever I am. In the classroom, we discuss the Milky Way galaxy, the orbit of the sun around the Earth, or whatever, Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and kids, do you know that some of the stars we see when we look up in the sky are so far away they've already burned out? What do you think of that? Timmy, my mom says that even though you got hairs that grow from your legs and that the hairs on your head grow short and pokey and that you smell really bad like my dad, that you're a girl. Thank you, Timmy. So it goes. On the playground, she peers up from behind her pink powder puff sunglasses and asks, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And I say, "No." And she says, "Oh. Do you have a girlfriend?" And I say, "No. But if by some miracle 20 years from now I ever finally do, then I'll definitely bring her by to meet you. How's that? Okay, can I push on the swing?" And that's the thing. They don't care. They don't care. Us, on the other hand. My father sitting across the table at Christmas dinner, gritting his teeth over his still full plate, his appetite ripped away by the intrusion of my haircut. "What were you thinking? You used to be such a pretty girl." College boys drunk and screaming, leaning out the window of their daddies' SUVs. "Hey, are you a faggot or dyke?" And I wonder what would happen if I met up with them in the middle of the night. Then, of course, there's always the somehow not quite bright enough fluorescent light of the public restroom. "Sir, do you realize this is the ladies' room?" "Yes, ma'am, I do. It's just I didn't feel comfortable sticking this tampon up my penis in the men's room." But the best are always the parents at the market. The mother sticking up her nose with the father pushed aside his child's wide eyes, whispering, "Don't stare. It's rude." And I want to say, "Listen, dude, the only rude thing I see is your paranoid parental hand pushing aside the best education on self that kid's ever going to get. Looking with your pinks and blues, your boy-girl rules. So why don't you take your macho and shove it in that car with your wife's fucking issue of Cosmo, because tomorrow I start my day with 28 minds that know a hell of a lot more than you. And if I show up in a pink frilly dress, those kids won't love me any more or less. Hey, are you a boy or a... Oh, never mind. Can I have a push and swing? And someday, y'all, when we grow up, it's all going to be that simple.